Good evening, everybody. Didn't mean to take us to the black hole there. So this is our last GPSG Senate meeting of the semester, and we will get started as soon as we hit quorum. So if you haven't, please fill out the attendance sheet at the top of the agenda. It's hyperlinked there. And we will do our best to move briskly so that we get through all of our agenda items and finish by 7 p.m. Thank you all for being here. Looks like right now we have close to 60 people in attendance. Oh, close to 80 people. Okay, doing quite well. So we will get started very soon. Thank you. Also, for those of you who sit on committees, please make sure that you rename yourself on Zoom and include the first letter of your committee after your display name. A for advocacy, C for community, and S for scholarship. Thank you. Hello again, folks. Just to give you a quick update, we are still 7 attendance forms short of reaching quorum. So if you haven't already filled out an attendance form, please do so. Once we have 7 more people fill out the attendance form, we will be able to get started. Thank you for your patience.
Rio, we do have the quorum now.
Okay, photo finish. We did it. Thank you, Rohan. For those of you who don't know, Rohan is our Vice President of Information. He is fantastic. So listen to the hammer on the table. We will now call this meeting to order. And we will start off with the previous minutes from 2 weeks ago when we had our last Senate meeting. Okay, there you go.
Okay, so we began the last meeting by approving the minutes of the October 20th Senate meeting. Then there was a special orders and educational presentation from SAFAB. There were a few questions raised as to where is the money being charged from. So there was a clarification that UAF fund is already taken from the students. SAFAB is only asking for allocation of that funds. And it was also proposed that a resolution would be needed for that. More on that shall follow in this meeting. Regarding administrative comments from OGAPS, we had that they had pushed the 3-minute thesis prelims deadline to January 2021. More details are forthcoming. Rio had shared a refresher on our Senate and GPSG roles, and Nathan had shared some insight into the parliamentary rules. Then Chandler had shared the preference and assignments of internal committees, and more importantly, he had also asked a few people to sign up for the available posts in the external committees and a few follow-ups on the meeting schedule and reports. Moving on, CJ had just made it clear that the comment period for the DHS proposed policy was over and the comments can be viewed by public. Paloma had then shared that we have had our holiday card writing event yesterday and today, and more on that shall follow in the coming in the meeting today. And also that we are looking for a positive picture of all the senators. So more on that shall be taken over by Paloma today in the meeting as well. Christina had then shared that the GPSG had organized a panel discussion on critical race theory. The panel discussion took place last Thursday. And finally, we had a new business, that is GPSG 54.03, that is support of Dr. Karen Butler's Paris proposed change to Student Rule 10.4.2. It was passed by a majority vote from the Senate. Finally, there was an announcement from Rio that GPSG is looking for an election commissioner for 2020-21. And if you are interested, please send an email on that email ID.
Thank you, Rohan. Next, we are going to have a short presentation from both Student Health Services as well as the University Center and Special Events. So we will kick this off with Dr. Jim Fish. I hope I have that name spelled correctly. And he is the Associate Director of Medical Services here at Texas A&M. And screen sharing is enabled, so we will be able to see his presentation.
Super. Rio, do I need to provide the presentation? Because I have it here if I need to. You don't have it?
If you would like, I
do not either way.
have it readily available. If you have,
okay, let me put it up.
No, then let me see here. Bear with me.
Okay.
And to those of you in attendance, this is something that I think we may write a resolution for. So I ask that you pay special attention to what is said. And if you have any questions, save them to the end and feel free to ask when they're done.
Can everybody see it? Okay. So good evening, everyone. I want to thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. My boss, Martha Dannenbaum, unfortunately is in the airport at the moment, so she couldn't give it, but she asked me, and I'm really thrilled to do it. Today, we're going to talk about supporting this SHS fee cap increase. Okay. Our mission is to advance student development and academic success by providing personalized and evidence-based healthcare to Aggies. I think our vision that we be the student's first choice is a very important one, and a nationally recognized leader in college health. We are very involved both with the Institute for Healthcare Improvement, IHI, on the triple aim here on campus, and also in the American College Healthcare Health Association, which is our school that manages all the student health organizations across the country. So we follow the DSA goals, and they're very important to us, but the most important ones for us are we believe we contribute to student success and support student well-being. This is the guts of what I need to talk to you about today. Basically, I wanted to tell you that our fee cap, and today we're not talking about money, we're talking about headroom for us to increase and be able to use a fee. Right now, we are at the fee cap of $75, and that fee cap is legislatively controlled. We actually went to the session almost 2 years ago, and I want to thank publicly Representative Rainey. John Rainey did a great job getting it through the House. Unfortunately, it got stuck in the state Senate, and so we are going to go up again this next year, and with your support, hopefully we will be successful. But the previous fee cap, right now we're at $75. The previous fee cap at $50 was 24 years ago. And so 24 years ago, it went from 50 to 75. And so since that time, we have not had a fee cap increase, and we're at the cap at $75 right now. As you can see, the PricewaterhouseCoopers came out with a report a couple of years ago, and it said that from 1991 to 2014, healthcare costs in Texas increased an average of 4.8% per year. But I can also tell you folks that in 2008 to 2018, our health fee increased only an average of less than 1% a year. In other words, we've been very, very frugal and careful about the costs that we add to the students. And we'll talk about this in a little bit. We really need to increase our student health fee now to continue our current level of service and to maintain our financial stability. We have done as much as we can to keep the cost low for students, but we're at the point now where, and you'll see in the next slide, 2 slides from now, it's showing the student health fee is becoming a increasingly smaller part of our budget, which means that we have to fill it with revenue. And so unfortunately, we may have to increase costs of care to students if we can't get this fee cap and a subsequent small fee increase later. Our concern is that when we increase the cost of care to students, it creates inequities for those who don't have health insurance or an ability to pay. And so we're always balancing that. There's really a tension between the two, and we work really hard to keep those costs low. Here's our cap request. We're asking the legislature, and we're asking you to support increasing our fee cap to $200. The current $75 student health fee only funds 60% of our current budget. And so any costs beyond that, we have to pass on to the students who receive care in our facility. So for example, this summer, we had to recently increase the cost of a medical visit to $15. This truly makes seeking healthcare increasingly difficult for students because, as you know, healthcare has been increasing and increasing every year. But students that come here on scholarships or come from families without the financial means to have health insurance, this is a very difficult thing. And even if you're part of the ACA group and you've got, let's say, the bronze plan, that's, you still might have a $3,000 deductible, which means you have to pay the first $3,000 of it. So we really want your support to get this fee cap increased so we don't have to pass a huge increase on to students when they come in for care. I think that we are many of the students' first choice to come when they're here on campus, and even many off campus. When this COVID crisis started, we immediately jumped in, started doing telemedicine visits. It's become a very popular choice now, but we still see, probably 450 students a day in our health center right now. So anyway, we need your support. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have at this time.
Hi, yes.
For those who have questions, oh, okay. I'm sorry for interrupting you. I was just going to make a quick note, Stacy. For anybody who wants to ask a question, please hit Alt-Y and raise your hand. But the person who was speaking before me is welcome to continue.
Gotcha. Sorry, I didn't know like the short key to raise my hand, and I've been trying to figure out on my screen how to raise my hand. Zoom is not my friend, but that's beside the point. Okay, so I've used the student health services before, and Butyl really awesome. But I just have I have a question. So that increase, what does that put towards? Because before, whenever I was there, I understand that I had to get some scans done and then some blood work, and so I understand like I need to pay for some of that, which is fine. I get that. But is that what you're hoping the increase will cover? It will cover those kind of things, or it will allow you to continue to help students do this without paying like a charge for that appointment? So what is that covering, I guess?
I mean, it used to be that all the healthcare was free, and what has kept, even though we hit the $75 cap, and we can't go any higher than that. And by the way, remember that even if there are safeguards in the law that even if we do get a higher cap, we can't necessarily just increase the student health fee to y'all, because y'all have to be involved if there's a significant increase. So what we're going to do with that, Stacy, is our plan is right now we need to get a little bit financially healthy and whole, and there is enough room in there if the students voted on it and wanted to. Like last year at this time, we asked if you all wanted a comprehensive healthcare facility, and the answers were pretty close to yes, but we also had a I don't know, and a lot of people said they didn't know. But if we had even a portion of those, we would have been good to go. So we're asking for your support with the legislature, especially I would think with the Senate, to please tell them that this is a no money housekeeping deal. In other words, it's sort of like a can, right? When you get to the top of the can, you got to empty it out and refill it. And we're at the top of the can now. I can't even take one more dollar in student fee money without the legislature raising it.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Anybody else?
Stacy, thank you for chiming in. We now have a hand raised from Margaret Cook. You're welcome to speak.
Thank you. My internet's a little unstable, so cut me off if I break up, please. I had two questions for you, sir. The first one is, can you talk a little bit about how this affects students that are on the university health plan? Because I'll disclose, I'm a part of the university health plan, so that changes how I approach care with Butyl because it changes what my copay is.
Sure. There's two types of university health plans, by the way. If you're a graduate student and you're offered the A&M faculty staff plan, that, is like any regular insurance. Every year when it renews, you have a deductible, and but we are not in network with the A&M faculty staff plan. We are in network with the academic health plan, which people also call the student health plan. It's pretty reasonable, like $3,000 a year, but we are in network with that, and almost everything's covered with that.
Thank you. I appreciate you clarifying that for me.
Okay, sure.
And my other question for you is, I just want to make sure I'm interpreting what you were saying in your presentation. Am I correct that if we do vote to approve, supporting you guys taking an increased cap to the legislature, that doesn't mean that if approved, we would immediately move from $75 to $200. It would be like a stepwise.
You're absolutely correct. We would not. What we're just asking for is room to breathe. And if we came back and said, hey, we need a $3 increase or a $4 increase, then we would have the ability to do that. Right now, we can't raise it a penny. If you all voted to have a new facility, then that's something that we would have enough room inside that, fee cap to do it. But we've, as you can see from the last 25 years, we've been very frugal about, even using another dollar on the student, health fee that goes to the students. Now, if you all wanted, we could, if the students, raised a request that maybe we would add enough to the student health fee that we didn't have a $15 fee anymore to come see a doctor, we could do that. But that's not something in our plans at the moment because the students haven't asked for that.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Fish. I appreciate your feedback.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Okay, now before we continue, I have 2 hands raised. If one other person raises their hands after them, I think that is the last question that we will have time for. So with that, we're going to move on to Senator Josh Vancouver from the Advocacy Committee. You're welcome to talk.
Hi, I just want to say thank you for giving this presentation. I have a question. So over the next, I guess, decade or 5 years, or wherever you feel comfortable, kind of the time frame making this statement, what kind of fee increase would you expect to see go on to the tuition bill versus what kind of fee increase would you need for each patient coming into your facility?
If we get the fee cap raised and we can make ourselves financially whole, I mean, I cannot speak for my boss, but I can say that, we will certainly look at it and we will keep it in mind to, keep the costs down. If you all vote for a new facility, that would dramatically increase it, of course. Did I answer your question to your satisfaction, sir, or would you like some more?
I mean, I don't want to press you for an answer you don't feel comfortable giving. I guess kind of to make yourselves financially whole, do you have a figure that you can give?
I mean, I'm not the finance person, but I can tell you that it would most likely be less than $5. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Sure.
Okay, thank you for asking that, Josh. Our last question, it seems, will come from Aaron Bonnet, a senator from the Scholarship Committee. The floor is yours.
Hi, good afternoon. I have a two-part question. The first one is regarding the student cap increase. Has there been any kind of consideration to a multi-tier structure to where if a student has private health insurance and doesn't use Butyl, can they opt for a lower student health services, but if they choose to go to Butyl, they would pay a larger amount versus a student who chooses to go to Butyl primarily, they can pay a higher student fee and lower amounts there.
Aaron, there hasn't been any kind of formal discussion about that, but I can tell you that the reason why we charge now to see a doctor is because we met with students and students said, hey, I want the users to be paying, for when they come to the services versus those that don't. I mean, Aaron, if you're one of the lucky, 50% that doesn't use Butyl, good on you, but, the other, 48% or 50% do. So at that point, we listened to the students and we added a $5 fee. But since then, because we haven't been able to raise our fee, we've had to raise it to 10. And then so pretty much like in the last 6 years, We went from $0 to $15.
Wow. Okay.
And we would like to stop doing that because at a certain point, if we keep raising it, there won't be any difference between downtown and us.
Right. I'm just thinking of the backlash that might come from the students who have private health insurance saying, hey, I don't ever use you guys. Why should I pay more? But
well, we do, by the way, file like over almost 100 plans. So we will file your health insurance for you if you have outside health insurance. That's not the issue. For example, during this COVID crisis, so many people came in to be tested before we had the tent. With that kind of testing for free, we had people coming in with their insurance, and the insurance was paying 100% when we filed for them, even though they're out of network.
right. No, I'm talking more of the mandatory fee. So if the
Yes.
students who never go to Buell, it's like but
No, we have not considered that because it's the legislature that says that you have to pay it.
Right. My second question, this kind of goes off the last one, is if you guys don't get this cap increase, and without raising the costs so high to where it's kind of just places a burden on students, how long can Buell continue to go?
Boy, I really wish I had my finance person here with us. You know,
And I guess I don't need an exact answer. I mean, more like, is it
but I
within the
can't give
next
you a how many
handful of years?
like that. But I would just say that 2 years ago, the student health fee was 70% of our budget, and now it's 60%. So the more that happens, the more we're forced to either rethink how we're doing our current business, what services we're offering, and we'll continue to do it. Now we have been very good about keeping our reserves up, so we do have some money to fall back on. It's not like we're going to be destitute. We've got money in the bank, so there's certainly we're not in desperate straits by any means. So if that's what you're hearing, that's not the message I'm trying to get. The message I'm trying to get is over these last 15 years, the university has been increasing in registered students, and because of that, we have had more health fee that automatically came on as more students enrolled. But we're kind of seems like we're sort of leveling out now, and that means there's no additional fee money coming in. And so that's one of the reasons why we are coming to request this fee cap increase.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Aaron, thank you. As I stated previously, we only had time for one more question. So Marie, I see your hand is raised. I do not know if we'll have time to get to your question. It depends on if Senator Zach Brawley is able to get through his question quickly with Dr. Fish. So with that, Zach, the floor is yours. He's a senator from the Scholarship Committee.
Yes, this should just take a short time. I'm just wondering where the $200 figure came from. That's more than double the current cap space. So can you explain why there's a $200 cap proposed?
Sure. So when we were looking at it, we were getting the, one of our biggest limitations here, Zach, is space. We have no space. I can't even add one more exam room. So we started to make plans to look at a new facility. And we've done a lot of work. We've talked with Mr. Reaver, we've gone down and talked with the community-based environment group. We've talked to the architects. We've put some land. We've got a little space out there by the rec center, kind of across from the parking lot that they penciled in for us. And we also noticed 2 years ago, Dr. Dannenbaum and I were walking around, and we found that in the campus master plan, we were scheduled to go away, but we couldn't find where we were going. So, we pointed that out, and that's kind of brought this whole idea of a new facility up. And so that's why it's so much higher.
Right,
Because
so
if we
you plan in the future to actually pursue a new facility. So it
can't
would
do it
be around.
unless you students say yes. But and one of the good things about that is it's sort of like when the MSC was built, right? We built it for future Aggies, and if you want and you agree, it would be built for future Aggies.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Before, I think we'll have time for Marie's question. Dr. Fish, would you feel comfortable providing an email address that other folks within our student body could message if they have other questions about your presentation?
Absolutely. My email address, jfish, J-F-I-S-H, @shs.tamu.edu.
I'm typing that right now in the agenda. That should be right there below your name. jfish@shs.tmu, and I'm sure you will get other questions after this.
Super.
Senator Marie, you are welcome to continue.
Hi, Dr. Fish. Thanks for
Hi.
coming out tonight to tell us about this. I wanted to get a better idea on the fee cap. I was lacking some understanding on exactly what that means. And my first idea was that the amount of funding that the student is, I guess, essentially given per semester, how much they can essentially get medical help, like up to $75 worth, or is it this their initial fee that's incurred from their tuition?
That's a really great question. A lot of people don't understand that. What the student health fee is, think of it kind of, I mean, I know Butyl is like this magnificent facility, but it's kind of like the country club fee. When you pay the $75, which by the way is legislatively mandated, okay, and you pay your fee, now you have access to student health services. If you don't register and pay the fee, you do not have access to us.
Okay, that answers my question. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Can't hear you, Mr. Rio.
Dr.
Hear you.
Fish, thank you so much for your presentation. Folks, you're welcome to thank Dr. Fish. Oh,
Thanks, guys.
can you hear me now?
Thank
Yes,
you.
I can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
With that, next on the agenda, if I'm coming in clear, is Mr. Bill Bilimovich, who is the Director of University Center and Special Events.
Oh. Does someone have a copy of our presentation that we could bring up, put up on the screen?
I will check for that right now. I think Mr. Reber is on too. He may have a copy of it.
I think Mr. Reber sent it to you, I believe, to Ria. If we don't have it, I can go on without it.
I've found it. University Center Complex Fee, I believe is what this is.
Correct, please.
Okay. I will share it right now. There we are.
Okay. Well, thank you guys very much for the opportunity to speak with you. Quick introductions, if you don't mind. Tonight I have with me University Center and Special Events finance person and Associate Director Judy Mars is with me. I also want to thank Dr. Fish for his presentation. He did a great job and he answered a lot of hard questions for you guys that are very similar, I'm sure, to the ones for us. I'm going to start with reiterating again about we're asking for the same fee cap of $200. I want to begin with we're asking for the fee cap to be raised to $200. It is now at $100. If the fee cap were provided for us, the soonest we could ask for an increase in that fee cap, we could ask for it this coming August, only to be provided for us the next September in 2022. The most we can ask for is 10% without a student vote. With that said, the facilities supported by this fee, as you see top left of your screen, are the John Coldus building, where the Vice President's office is, Rudder Theater Complex, Rudder Tower, and the Memorial Student Center. Those spaces comprise about 722,000 square feet of space that we try really hard to provide for student meetings first, and then faculty and staff use of those spaces, and then outside entities. And we would like to keep the use of the space for the students as much as possible without going to outside sources for revenue. In FY18, we hosted about 13,000 student-led events in these facilities. In FY19, about 12,000, and that has decreased substantially in FY20 with the COVID-19 situation. If I could, I would ask Judy to give you the history of the student fee. There you go. Go for it.
So, guys, thank y'all so much for your time this evening. We really appreciate your attention to this matter. You can see here on our infographic that we've got kind of a chart that shows a year, and then above it is a dollar amount, and then below it is the student population for our campus during that time. And so essentially the cap until 2001 was $40. And so from a 9-year period, 1992 to 2001, it took 9 years to reach that cap. In 2009, it went for a review with the House and the Senate, and it was approved for the cap to go to $100. And that went for student vote, and the students voted and approved that. And that split on that money is actually $60 and $40. And the reason that cap was raised was for the $128 million renovation of the Memorial Student Center. So even though the fee went up and the cap went up to $100, still in FY20, we're only utilizing $40 to cover about 40% of our budget. The other $60 from that increase actually goes towards the debt service repayment for the Memorial Student Center renovation.
Next, below that on your screen, the highlighted projects, just a few, to mention a few of these. In FY18, we spent about $1.7 million, and some of the projects this money was spent on was new flooring for Rudder Exhibit Hall, which is in the theater complex, the flag room and 12th man hall furniture, and we purchased and installed new carpet in student activities. And again, these are just a few of the larger projects. In FY19, some of the larger projects were like almost $1 million was MSC first floor dining furniture, Rudder Theater Complex flooring, and safety upgrade to the orchestra pit and Rudder Auditorium, and some new permanent and movable seating and tables and chairs for Rudder Tower. In FY20, that our numbers are significantly lower because, again, of COVID-19. We put new furniture in the lower level of the MSC. We had a very large boiler need to be replaced in the MSC, and we bought new furniture for the Department of Multicultural Services, and again about $439,000. With COVID-19, a lot of the spaces within these facilities are being used for classrooms. For example, there are 25 classes held in the MSC, 46 in Rudder Tower, 6 in All Faiths Chapel, 30 in Rudder Theater Complex, and then our staff have become experts in technology and Zoom and working in the classroom. So we provide tech support at White Creek, 4 classes there, and 6 classes in the university apartments. Again, we have a staff of, I think we're at capacity about 49 or 50, and we're at 45, and we're not replacing some of those staff because of the number of events that we've cut back on. The loss of revenue due to COVID-19, March of 2020 to December of 2020 is about, as you can see from the infographic, about $2.2 million. Again, I'm sure a lot of what you heard was repetitious, but we are in the same situation as the health center. The MSC was renovated in 2012, and the technology, furniture, carpet, what have you, is getting older, and this is our means by which to replace it. If we could answer your questions, I would be glad to do so.
I'm just going to assume that the host of this is a little preoccupied or having some more technical issues. I raised my hand, but this is question for you. I'm just wondering, does all of the, is there no other revenue sources that goes to, I guess, refurbishing and renovating the building? I mean, I know that y'all sell a lot of products in there, but does none of that money actually go back into upkeeping the building itself?
Judy, you might help me with this, but yes, there is a significant source of revenue generation within our department. I'm about to go on a limb and give a number. Isn't it like $3.3 million?
We actually, so this student center complex fee is about 40% of our budget. We operate on about $10.5 to $11 million budget. And so we receive about $4 to $4.2 million a year from this fee. The rest of the money that we receive is from tenants who rent space in the Memorial Student Center, dining services on campus, the Barnes & Noble bookstore, and then we also generate a significant amount of revenue prior to COVID-19 for all of the events that we also help host. And one of the things that we're able to do with this fee is it subsidizes our operations in our department. And so we actually have a pricing structure for our space, for our staff, and for our technology. And students get it either cost-free or at the lowest possible tier and rate. With COVID-19 having happened, obviously our ability to generate revenue has been significantly decreased. We're very, very proud of the fact that we feel like we're at the center of Texas A&M's mission right now, which is turning our spaces into classrooms and, providing that option for our instructors and for our students. But of course, the flip side to that is also then we have to be able to pay, we have $1 million a year in utilities for these facilities. There's cleaning, there's, upkeep. It's very expensive to run these type of facilities.
And also, in addition to that, our 45 or 46 staff, we have been sought out by other departments on campus to provide technical support for several other facilities on campus. For example, we generate a lot of revenue from athletics. Almost every event that athletics does at Kyle Field, including 12 or so of our staff, are at every home football game. We run and maintain the sound system at the stadium. We do all of the programs support at AgriLife. We do all of the support for events at the Equine Complex, and everything that's not a class in ILSB, we support those events as well, which is how we generate the revenue Judy brought up a minute ago, and it's pretty significant.
I'd also like to say that, we try very, very hard to be judicious with every dollar that either our staff generates or fees or rents from our facilities. And to say that we have a full-time budgeted staff of like 51 or 52 people, what we listed on our infographic was the student-led events, but we touch on a normal year roughly 25,000 events. Now that could be a major Broadway production for Opus, or an event is also students meeting in Rudder Tower and they're only in the room for an hour, but we still have to have that entered into our system. We still have to have someone go and check the room, unlock it, make sure that it's set right. And then we have to have somebody go back whenever the meeting's over to make sure that everything is in order. And the way that we're able to do that with that limited amount of staff is actually, I budget around $800,000 a year in student employee wages. And so, we're proud of that as well. We typically in a normal year employ about 150 students. And, we're able then to take some of the money from these fees and the revenue that we generate and pay these students who need employment. So.
And that leads into one other question back in there. So you're doing these services for other departments and other entities. Do they not have to pay you because they're now using your resources for their gain? Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't be getting revenue from them. Like, especially if you're going to help out the football team, like they get enough money to take care of themselves. So they're using, basically it sounds like free labor from the students in order to operate efficiently. Do y'all not see any monetary compensation from that?
We do. They're part of that 3-tier. So students get the lowest rate, and then internal academic departments, administrative departments, anybody within A&M system would be the 2nd tier. They're affiliated. And then the 3rd tier who pays the highest amount would be external. So for instance, Rudder Auditorium, there's a lot of dance schools in town and they hold their recitals here. Well, their licensing fee to use that space, their hourly rate for our staff is significantly higher than an affiliated group, and even more so than a student run event.
And they would only get that space if it were not being used by students or affiliated groups. And like she said, they pay a significant amount for the licensing fee. I think it's about $3,000 an event, plus the fees for the tech support, whether that's the stage manager, audio engineers, lighting engineers. Those fees at least double.
And a $500 fee if you get glitter on our stage, because it's horrible to clean up.
Okay.
Well, that
Now,
definitely helps
folks, I'm going to
clarify.
interject here. I'm sorry, for the sake of time, we have at least 8 or 9 other hands raised. Mr. Belamovich, would it be possible to receive an email that some of our senators here can field their questions to?
That's real easy. My email address is b-belamovich@tamu.edu.
Can you type that in? And Rio, we'll actually type that in. Oh, chat's disabled. Okay.
Yeah,
I will enable it for that.
Okay.
There you go. You can type it in.
We're going to type it in.
Thank you. To the senators in attendance, I'm sorry that we do not have time for your questions right now. I understand there's a lot to talk about with this. I will encourage all of you, actually, when we go into committee breakouts to discuss the presentations that you've just talked about, and we could come up with some resolutions for them. With that, would you all please unmute and thank our presenters for their time?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Send your questions.
Thank you so much. I will send you all off now. Have a great rest of your evening. And folks, I apologize we weren't able to get to the rest of those questions, but we're going to move on to the rest of the agenda. Got to do so briskly because we still have 2 resolutions that we have to get to. So our student body president, Utej, the floor is yours.
Howdy, everyone. I'll go through my points pretty quickly. So as you all are aware, the Office of Graduate and Professional Students will be transforming into a graduate school, and they are conducting reviews or accepting reviews through different student forums, and they've created subcommittees in order to understand what are the current issues that are prevailing among graduate and professional students and how they could be improved. With that, this Thursday on the 19th of November, between 6 to 7 p.m., they are hosting one of the subcommittees in the task force, the Master Students Subcommittee. You as Master students have an opportunity to express the troubles that you're going through, so that those are reported and informed in the and the OGAPs as well informed. That said, this is an announcement. On December 3rd, we will be having an open student forum with President Young and Provost Fierke. And this is again a chance for all our graduate and professional students to join us and ask any questions that concerns you with regarding to spring planning or with regarding the spring semester or any other questions that you have. In addition, as mentioned before, there are 3 subcommittees as part of the graduate school task force, and one of the other subcommittee, doctoral students subcommittee, is seeking student leader representatives who can talk about the issues y'all are facing as doctoral students. And anyone who's interested, please reach out to me. And I can't emphasize enough how good this would be for us. And it's on November 30th between 10 to 11 a.m. If you think there are any other people from your department who would be more appropriate to be at these meetings, please pass on that information. And my last announcement is if y'all have been financially affected due to COVID-19 and are seeking for and are not able to find the right resources that are there on campus, please feel free to reach out to me. And also, in case you think none of the resources out there are being helpful for you, also reach out to me. I will set you up with the right sources. In the interest of time, I'll be ending my stuff. Y'all, as always, y'all have my email and feel free to reach out to me.
Okay, thank you, Tej. Great updates. I will be brisk with mine, I promise you. First, let's launch some good news in this meeting. Our previous resolution that we passed regarding the Matthew Gaines bus route, renaming the Cotton Bowl route, it was a success. The Transportation Advisory Committee voted to change the name from Cotton Bowl to Matthew Gaines. So congrats to all of you who supported that resolution. We made change. And never forget the power of a resolution. They're real important. Next, I'm going to pass over the floor to Pranjal Awasthi, who is our Student Research Week Director, for some quick updates.
Hey, hi. So I have four main points which I wanted to run by all of you. So the Student Research Week, we started our team building process. I'm happy to inform all of you that we have a team now. We have about 8 people who are very excited to work, and they've started working. The registrations for the Student Research Week open tomorrow. But the bulk emails will be sent out tomorrow, and I request all of you to sort of just forward those emails to the people you know and your personal department so that we can get the word out even better. As far as the actual website goes, it's srw.tamu.edu. And if any one of you knows anyone who's interested to join in either as a judge or as a faculty member or just as a participant, he can go and sort of look at that website, and all the details will be found there. Also, just one last thing, as a team, we are looking for a marketing coordinator. So if any one of you knows someone who might be interested who knows how to do basic marketing stuff, putting out content on Facebook and Instagram and pages like these, then please reach out to us. I think the email ID on the website would suffice, or you could reach out to me personally as well. Having said that, that's all the main updates I had for you. If there's anything else, I'd make sure that all that information is relayed through the bulk emails to all of you. That's it. Thank you.
Hi, Pranjal. Thank you. Also, folks, Rohan typed in the link to the Student Research Week website on the agenda, srw.tamu.edu. Feel free to visit that if you want more information, as well as Pranjal's contact info. With that, I will close by saying that there are going to be some openings within GPSG. So if you're wanting to join our officer team, there will be a position for co-chair of diversity and international affairs, as well as the scholarship co-chair for research and professional development. Some of you may know it as research and grants, and also a marketing director. So for anybody who's interested in getting involved with some social media work, that will be another opportunity. So these are linked here within the agenda, and we'd love to have you join us. With that, I'm going to pass it on to our VP of Finance, Deborah Martogi.
Thank you, Rio. I'll be quick with mine. I just want to update on some of the content from Faculty Senate and the Council of Principal Investigator, which is CPI. One of the things that we talked about was that the library is currently in talks about the Elsevier contract renewal, which is one of the largest publisher that we are using. If you are in research, this is important. The contract renewal is the contract is gonna end at the end of this year. And if it's not renewed, then then the library will work around it to help us to kind of like get our resources. We will still have access to the content until the end of the year, but if it's not renewed, we may not have access to the most recent one, but the library, like I said, will find the resources for us to look for it. Other than that, there will also be another Faculty Senate open forum, which is scheduled for tomorrow at 3 p.m. And I provided the link on the agenda, so feel free to check that out tomorrow if you have any questions. That's all that I have.
Thank you for that, Deb. Next, we'll move on to our VP of University Affairs, Chandler Wilkins.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I'll keep it short because these are the same things I said last meeting. So first of all, if you haven't already, fill out that first link for the internal committee preference survey. Only do this if you haven't done so already. The way that you can check if you've done so is go to that next link for the internal committee assignments. You'll be able to see your name. If your name is not there, we likely don't have you on file as completing it. Next is the external committee sign-up sheet. We only have one committee that's really left at this point. And then next, after that, external committee meeting schedule. Again, if you're on an external committee, please fill this out. I'll start tagging folks who haven't filled out their committees yet, committee times and dates and meeting times and stuff. We want to get this done so we can have it up and running for next semester. And then finally, the external committee reports. If you sit on an external committee, click that link, and then you'll be able to see the report format that we'd like for you to do to submit to our drive, our folder. Essentially, that's all I got. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chandler. Next, we'll move on to CJ Godkin, who is our Legislative Affairs Chair.
Howdy, everyone. So some real quick updates. At our recent SAGE meeting, our president, UTEJ, was nominated and elected as co-chair for International Student White Paper Working Group. So he will be heading up that effort with SAGE. Our counterparts in SGA released sort of the minutes for their last meeting in October. And from what I could gather, these 4 pieces of legislation were approved and passed in their student senate. The actual text of those pieces of legislation is not online yet, but I will let y'all know when it is, probably in our next meeting in January. And the City of College Station is having a meeting this Thursday at 6 p.m. to discuss the new definition of family and familial relations as it relates to the residency overlay ordinance. That memo that I linked there, pages 36 to 37, are the parts that talk about the new definition. And if I'm not mistaken, that definition will be decided upon December 10th. So if that's something you're interested in, I encourage you to attend that meeting. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, CJ. Next, on to the Community Committee, we have Paloma, who is our Programming Service and Recruitment Chair.
Hello, everyone. So just to give you a reminder, we have our holiday cards event, and this is going to be extended until Friday the 20th. So come by and write some holiday cards to your loved ones, and we ship them for free. It's on us, shipment, and anywhere in the world. So you can come to a student service building, 2nd floor. That's where we are. Then, just so you are aware, we have another guided meditation session. This will be on December 2nd, and from 5:30 to 6:30. So please sign up here in these. We have here the sign up on the agenda, and I'm also going to distribute in social media a flyer, so you can also find the sign up sheet there. And the last thing is, please don't forget to send us your positive graduate and professional student picture. You can send it to my email, and we're gonna make a collage and hopefully have it ready with all of you guys' pictures by the next Senate meeting, which will be a spring 2021. So if you have any questions about this activity, please contact me, and yeah, thank you for listening.
Thanks, Paloma. I hope to see all of the Senate body's faces on that collage, because I love collages. Scholarship Committee, we have RK, Ward's Professional Development Chair. What is yours?
Rio, can you open that file?
Yes, I can.
Howdy, guys. We have our winter cycle virtual conference award winners here today. Okay. Bridget Downs from College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, Dali Hung from College of Engineering, Jiuchen Lu from College of Education and Human Development, Ji Ho, College of Education and Human Development, Natalie Hamilton, College of Agricultural and Life Sciences. Sorry for this. Facinito Jago from Interdisciplinary Degree Program, and Zaizung Lee, College of Geosciences. Please congratulate our winners tonight.
Congratulations.
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 Awesome.
Awesome.
Nice work, you guys. RK, do you have any other updates?
No.
Okay, well, thank you for running the virtual conference award. Congrats to all the winners. And folks, the time I have on my phone now is 6:37. We're going to say the clock is ticking now. So at 6:47, we're going to reconvene. Please have patience as I assign you all to your breakout rooms. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Paloma.
Am I in my committee yet? No.
it's good to hear from you anyway.
Well, you're really cracking up there, huh?
If I haven't sent you to your committee yet, could you please let me know which one you're supposed to go to?
Rio, I think some of the awardees are here. I think they can leave the meeting now.
Oh, yes, the conference award awardees, you're all welcome to leave. Congratulations again.
I made my own committee. I wanted to feel involved. Parliamentarian committee.
That's my committee. I love that committee.
Yeah, we needed to have our own. Now. Let's get one.
We need our own like war banner.
That's true. So so this is the last meeting. Yes.
Yes, this is the last one of the semester.
We made it.
Yeah, we did.
It'll be interesting. This will be like the first test to see how, if like that flyer worked to help people get through these resolutions or cleaned up a lot of those issues we were having.
Yes. I think it'll go great. I mean, honestly, we had talked about this at the last meeting, and nobody had really objected to it, you know. So I don't see why that would happen now.
Yeah. Knock on wood. You never know, people.
Yeah, you never know.
Because if I would have realized that there would have been more discussion about the Matthew Gaines one, I would have done this before the Matthew Gaines resolution. But I assumed it was like a kind of an easy pass. So I was like, oh, I won't worry about it. I'll wait for something more controversial to come through. And then I was like, oh, I probably should have done it earlier. Oh, well.
I'm gonna step away for a moment. Okay, it looks like we're all here. I hope you all had a good discussion, if not a brief one. Sorry we don't have more time today. So is the resolution appearing on the screen? Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
You can see it right now. Okay, good. With that, I'm going to preface, unlike the presentations we had at the beginning of the meeting, this resolution is not supporting any increases in fees. The CFAB Student Affairs Fee Advisory Board has already collected these fees from us. This is merely us voting as a government on how those fees are going to be directed. So again, we are not asking to increase fees. This is not in support of that. The money's been collected, and this is just telling them where it's going to go. And this is our opinion of how it could be done. If you all recall, there was a presentation 2 weeks ago from CFAB, and this is just saying we support it. So I'll begin. Support of Texas A&M University Student Affairs Fee Advisory Board funding recommendations. Shout out to Morgan Seacats, she did great with this. Whereas one, the Texas A&M University Student Affairs Fee Advisory Board, CFAB, presented the FY 2022 overview and recommendations to the GPSG on November 3rd. And whereas Texas A&M University is a Tier 1 research university and land-grant college dedicated to teaching, research, and service. And whereas the Graduate and Professional Student Government has passed resolutions in support of CFAB funding recommendations since 2016. Let it be resolved. Get ready. Take a big breath. GPSG takes the following stance on CFAB's FY22 funding recommendations. We are going to support the request from the Offices of Dean and Student Life for Student Conduct Office -SDS2, and we're going to support Veteran Resource and Support Center requests for position reclassification. We're going to support the Counseling and Psychological Services request for a clear ladder increase for 6 staff. And we are going to support Becky Gates Children's Center request for increasing funding to student workers and 2 ProCare touch computers. Good breath. Support Graduate and Professional Student Government request for a graduate assistance for Student Research Week. That's for us, by the way. Support Multicultural Services request for an admin assistant, and support the MSC request for staff adjustment, staff training program, Polycom phone replacement, student worker budget replacement, and support the student activities request for an instructional designer, SDS2- extended orientation, as well as a VoIP phone equipment. And we are also going to support music activities requests for reclassifying an accompanist to 9 months at 100% FTE. And we're going to support multicultural services requests for a student development specialist 2 and graduate assistant. And we're going to support the vice president and student affairs request for a DSA marketing student experience team. And we're going to support student life studies requests for full-time staff professional development and a telephone system upgrade. And lastly, we will support a disability resources request for accessible information management database. Let it be resolved 14 that this resolution shall be posted and delivered to the following people. I'm going to share the resolution stages just so we all know how this is going to flow. I have just read it. I will now take questions. No comments on the resolution itself, just any questions that it has. And I'll ask you to be brief if you have any. Senator Margaret Cook, your hand is raised.
Hey Rio, I'm so sorry. I was seeing the stages of resolution and bill the entire time you were reading that. So maybe they misunderstood when they asked, can you see the resolution? Would you mind putting that up?
Oh man, you guys, I know I was talking super fast. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The resolution is here.
Thank you so
Can you all
much.
see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I apologize. I was reading the whole time. Does anybody have any questions about this resolution? We also have Morgan Seacats from CFAB, who I will probably defer to for any questions related to it. Okay, hearing none so far, I will make, one of the senators has to make a motion to bring this resolution to the floor for stage 2. Will anybody make that motion? Does anybody want to bring this resolution to the floor? Please say, I move to bring this resolution to the floor.
I move to bring this resolution to the floor.
Thank you. And can I get a second?
Second
I
that.
second.
Appreciate it. Okay, now we are in stage 2. I'm not sure if you can see the stages right now or if you see my, I'll just share my screen as a whole. Okay, does anybody have any amendments that they want to make? Do they want to table it? I'm going to advise against tabling it because this is something that has to be passed today. If we are to pass it, it's time sensitive. And if there are no amendments or nobody wants to move it to a committee, then at that point, I'll need a senator to move this resolution or move to close the debate on the resolution.
I move to close the debate on this resolution.
Thank you, Josh. Can I get a second?
I second that.
Okay, acknowledged. Thank you. At this point, I'm going to ask, are you ready for the question? And that's basically a preface to, are we going to throw this thing under a vote? So, are you ready for the question? Are there any objections to bringing this resolution to vote? Okay, hearing none. I think now what I will do is, on the agenda, we're going to vote via the voting form. So if you have the agenda up, please navigate to voting form number 1 and vote to either approve or cast your yay or nay in favor of passing this resolution. Again, for those who may not have heard, we are voting on resolution GPSG R 54.04 in support of the SFAB funding recommendations from our previous Senate meeting. Please navigate to voting form number 1 and cast your yay or nay with regards to this resolution. Thank you.
Hi, Rohan. I think I have a technical issues. I couldn't find my department in the voting form number 1. So.
Yeah, Ronnie, I guess there were 2 consecutive Senate meetings which you didn't attend. So that means you will not be able to vote unless you attend 2 consecutive meetings again.
Okay.
I have attended. I've only missed 1 so far, and I can't. Mine's
Yeah,
not.
I think. Yeah, I think that what I understand as well. I think I missed 1 last week. Last 2 weeks. Yeah.
But as per the attendance, I have the record that you have missed 2 consecutive meetings.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I missed.
I'm guaranteed that I
sign up once. Thank you.
Actually, I have also a technical. I cannot find where should I vote. I cannot find it.
The voting forms are at the bottom of the agenda. So if you'll scroll down all the way toward the bottom, you'll see 6 different hyperlinks that say voting form number 1, 2, 3, and so on.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Rohan, you're muted.
Yeah. Has everyone voted? Because I don't see the counter moving, the number of people, the number of votes.
Jen, I can't find my department, so no, I have not.
So, Jed, did you miss 2 consecutive meetings?
No, I've only missed the 27th.
What I'll do is I'll quickly add your department. You are from communications, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Folks, I apologize for the time that we're cutting it here. I know we're supposed to end by 7. There's 1 resolution after this and a couple of announcements.
So, I guess, Jed, you should be able to vote now.
Thank you.
So Rio, we have, I guess all the people have voted. I don't see the counter moving anymore. I have only received Jed's vote. And then, so we have 45 votes, 41 in favor and 4 abstain.
With that, folks, the vote is passed, and I am proud to say that GPSG 54.04 is in motion. It's passed. Thank you all. Next, we are going to pass the floor over to Nicholas Farmer and Paloma, our very own Paloma, and we are all going to talk about the commencement fees for graduate and professional students, keeping in with the theme of this meeting for this week. So I will pass it over to them, and they can either share the screen or I can share the screen.
If you can share your screen, if you don't mind, Rio.
Sure thing.
Thank you. All right, so again, aiming to pay less fees, we have put together this resolution. So it's introduced by Nicholas Farmer, Senator from Department of Plant Pathology and Microbiology, and sponsored by Paloma Cuellar del Pozo, Senator, Department of Anthropology, Community Co-Chair for Programming, Service, and Recruitment. And the title of the resolution, which I should mention first, is in support of waiving commencement fees for graduate and professional students. So whereas 1, the Office of Graduate and Professional Studies charges a processing fee for the written thesis dissertation approval form of either $110 for master's or $170 for doctoral students. Professional students applying for graduation are assessed a minimum fee of $47.50, which increases to $100 if they attend to the Texas A&M University, Baylor College of Dentistry, Irma Lerma Rangel College of Pharmacy, College of Nursing, or School of Public Health. Whereas the other state institutions such as Texas Tech University pay significantly less in thesis dissertation fees. And whereas GPSG acknowledges that the Office of Graduate and Professional Studies recently enhanced the graduate student experience by expanding the tuition mandate for all PhD students employed in GAT, GAR, and GAL positions. And whereas graduate students receive between $15,000 and $18,000 in annual compensation compared to a nation's annual income of $52,000. And whereas many graduate students report working in excess of 40 hours per week between their coursework, research, and work duties, let it be resolved, GPSG supports waiving the fees required to process the written thesis dissertation approval form for master and PhD students, along with any graduation fees assessed for professional students. And let it be resolved, a copy of this resolution shall be posted and delivered to the following individuals. And I guess,
Paloma.
yep.
Oh, sorry. Just wanted to say thank you for reading that.
Okay.
Folks, as a reminder, we are in stage 1, and Paloma as well as Nicholas will take any questions that you all have. And if there are no questions, the senator may move to bring this resolution to the floor.
I have a question.
Yes.
Acknowledged?
Yeah. So does this cover even the diploma fee, or is this only for the commencement fees?
This is for dissertation, and the form that is going to be, that you're gonna fill out when you're gonna, like, when you're about to graduate, you have to do your thesis and abstract form, processing form. So it's not the diploma fee, no, just the $170 that's required, that you're required to pay so they can process your approval form for your thesis and abstract. The diploma fee is $40.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any further questions for Paloma or Nicholas? If not, please make a motion to move this resolution to the floor.
I move to make the, or bring the resolution to the floor.
I second the motion.
Thank you, folks. The resolution is now on the floor. We're in stage 2 at this point. Any amendments can be made. If somebody wants to move to make an amendment or move to refer this to a committee, table this for another meeting, those opportunities are there. If not, a senator can move to close the debate and move on to the final stage.
I have a question.
No questions. We're in stage 1. Nathan, would a question be acceptable at this point?
Yes.
Okay. Acknowledged, sir. You can continue.
Thank you. So in this file 4, graduate students receive between $15,000 to $15,000 and $18,000 in annual compensation compared to the nation's annual income. So are we talking about nation's median annual income?
Yes, and thank you for catching that. As I was reading it, I realized that I think we should have added like some kind of parameters. So yes, I think that's what that sentence means, yes.
And I think that there should be some kind of amendment to make it more clear.
Specific, right? Yeah, I agree with you totally.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody have anything else they'd like to say before closing the debate?
Yeah, I have something to say. So it's mentioned that graduate students receive between 15,000 and 18,000. So graduate students here includes even PhD students, right? And if that's the case, then the annual pay goes up till 30,000.
Okay, thank you for that information. Do you have like some sort of source that you can provide for that information?
My stipend is 30,000. Let me see if I can find a link for that.
Yeah, because that would be great to have that. I also had a fellowship stipend, but that was only for 3 years. So my annual compensation went all the way down to those digits that I found also on another source.
Nathan, you're welcome to talk about what you've just mentioned to me.
Hey, just to keep in mind that this is a resolution on the floor, and to make any changes to said resolution, we will need to actually have an amendment and make those changes just to fix those clarifications, or if this needs another week, maybe we consider sending it back to committee and then bringing this up in the first meeting in the spring. Just keep that in mind. We can't just change it. We have to do an amendment or send it back to committee and then change and then bring it back in a future meeting.
So Nathan, would it be okay if I'm writing down where these amendments could go in the resolution right now? Like I'm just writing comments. Just want to know if that's permitted or.
Yeah, as long as it's not changing what it is right now. Like keep in mind, like at this point, it is what it is unless we put an amendment and then we can change the wording. But if you want to leave a comment on the side that maybe this is something to do, sure. But then again, if we're like, if that makes sense. We just can't change the wording without an amendment to the resolution.
Right. I'm just adding comments to it unless people want to make amendments to those changes right now. I don't know, to make those changes right now. Yeah.
Yeah, so if someone wants to do that, they are welcome to.
Harold, I see your hand raised. Have you been addressed yet?
No, thank you, Nathan. Noted. In the interest of time, I propose to amend this whereas number 4, the amendment to include both revisions to the numbers of these stipends and as well as the nation annual income with a solid reference for both numbers.
Okay. And I will say before I call for a second on that, we do not have those numbers yet. Is that correct, Paloma?
Yeah, so I'm waiting to have a reference for that 36,000 annual income specifically only because we need to add these references to any statement that we made. And then the mean annual income, so the reference, that $52,000 comes from as a government statistics page. So that's a reference there. So I'm not sure what the person that just spoke, sorry, I'm just looking at the resolution, so I don't see who spoke before, but we do have a source for that one. So I think you meant to add a mean annual income, correct? Not the source.
Yes, yeah, you're correct. You're correct.
Okay,
For the second one, it was not about the reference, it was about the mean, yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
And I'm going to make a recommendation also because we are going over and we still have a little bit left to do. A senator can also propose to or move to refer this back to committee, and this would be something that we'd address as old business on our next meeting in the spring semester.
Sounds good.
Yeah. It is optimistic to try and get it done now, but I'm just not sure if we'll be able to right away. If someone wants to make that motion, they're welcome to, or...
I motion for it to return back to committee.
Second that.
I second that.
Okay, so that's Aaron and Jed. All in favor, please unmute and say aye.
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 Okay. And all opposed, please unmute and say nay. Okay, motion passes. This resolution has been referred back to the committee. We will include it as old business on our next Senate meeting in the spring. My apologies to Paloma and Nicholas Moving on to announcements. They're there if you want to read them. We need an election commissioner. Also, the 3-minute thesis deadline has been extended if you want to participate in that. Something important, we are going to be losing a few of the GPSG family soon, and I wanted to pass the floor to Utej to say some goodbyes.
So today is the last meeting for our beloved family members, Christina, Kat, and the baby. They've been amazing working with us and ensuring that we took great initiatives. But today I'm even sadder by the departure of Nicole. She's our GPSG advisor, and I would go on a limb and say that she's the reason we are competent as GPSG, and we are truly heartbroken that she will be leaving us. I would like you all to unmute yourself. Thank you, Nicole, and Nicole, Bailey, Kat, and Christina for all their efforts. And yeah, that's the sad announcement I had.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for what you do.
Gracias.
Appreciate you.
We're going to miss them very, very much. And again, if anybody's interested in joining GPSG, there are going to be openings. We've had a great team, and yes, especially because of Nicole, she's the reason why GPSG is as great as it is, and we'll miss her. With that, thank you all for staying with us past 13 minutes after. Does anybody move to adjourn the meeting?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, Aya. Can I get a second? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Hi.
Aye.
Those opposed, those abstaining, probably none. Motion passes. Everybody have a great night. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
See you all next semester.
Bye.
Thank you.